Hi guys, and welcome on back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Suze, and for those of you who do know me, welcome on back. Now, if you've watched any of my latest couple of videos, you will have noticed that I have said I do not like doing a TBR because I find TBRs to be very inflexible. I find there's a lot of pressure involved in TBRs, and it doesn't vibe with me. So something that I am going to be doing instead is something I like to term a pop list, my pile of possibilities. So today's video is going to be my pop list for June. I do work as a teacher, which means I don't have as much time to read as a lot of other booktubers do. One day I would love to just have that as my job and read books. That would be amazing. But until then, which is a long way off, I do still have to work, and I do have a family with teenage kids and a husband, and I still have to do all the things around the house as well. So I cannot devote as much time to reading as I would like to. May and April were both unusual reading months for me, where I read a lot of books because of either being on holiday or having COVID. Without further ado, let's jump right on in to the pop list. Now, the first book that is on my pop list is actually an e-arc, or an advanced reader copy, by an author named Jenny Hale, and the book is called The Island Summer. So I have already started reading it, but I need to get that finished in June, as it is an advanced reader copy. And it is based on this girl, Megan, whose grandfather has passed away many years ago and left his house for her in the Outer Banks of Manhattan, or wherever the Outer Banks are. I'm not from America. I don't know exactly where all these places are. And she wants to be a chef. And it goes through her trying to discover her dreams. That's about as far as I kind of understand the story to go. I believe there's more to it. I will be doing a review on that particular book for Jenny Hale, so keep an eye out for that one. The second book on my pop list is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, which is the first one in the series so far. Now, I have nearly finished it, and I was really hoping to have it finished for my May reading wrap-up, but I just didn't get there. So even though I've read most of it in May, I will be finishing it in June, so I figured it would probably best fit in my June pop list and then in my June reading wrap-up. But this is the first book in this series. The second book is out at the moment, and it is The Hunger of the Gods. And this one, I'm terrible at reviews, and I will review it later. But this one is set in a Norse-inspired world with lots of myth and magic and lots of vengeance and fighting. And it is an epic fantasy, and it is written in by three viewpoints. And I've really been enjoying this one, actually, and I am looking forward to reading the next one. There is no synopsis in here to read to you, otherwise I would. The next book on the pop list is The Blade Itself by Jo Abercrombie. This is the first in the First Law series. I have only read one Jo Abercrombie book, and that was A Little Hatred, and I really enjoyed it. So I have heard that the First Law trilogy is amazing, and I do like Jo Abercrombie as an author, so I don't know anything about it. I know nothing. I've literally just gone off recommendations. So I'm going to read the back for you, and we'll see how we go. Logan Ninefingers, infamous barbarian, has finally run out of luck. Caught up in one feud too many, he's about to become a dead barbarian, leaving nothing behind but bad songs and dead friends. Liesl den Luther, paragon of selfishness, has nothing more dangerous in mind than winning glory on the fencing circle. But war is brewing, and on the battlefields of the frozen north they fight by altogether bloodier rules. Inquisitor Glockter, cripple turned torturer, would like little more than seeing Jezzel come home in a box. But then he hates everyone. Cutting treason out of the heart of the Union, one confession at a time, leaves little room for friendships, and his latest trail of corpses could lead straight to the rotten heart of government if he can just stay alive long enough to follow it. Now, I recognise the character Inquisitor Glockter because of A Little Hatred. I think I was meant to read this series first, but I started with A Little Hatred, and I didn't realise that the characters went, I didn't realise it was so complex. So I am looking forward to reading this series before finishing off the Little Hatred series. The next book on the pop list is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. You will have seen in my May reading wrap-up that I read Six of Crows as part of my 7 books in 7 days, and I absolutely loved it, and I am very much looking forward to Crooked Kingdom because I have heard that it is even better than Six of Crows, and I loved Six of Crows. So, let's read what it says on the back. Kaz Brecker and his crew pulled off a heist so daring, even they didn't think that they'd survive. But instead of divvying up a fat reward, they're fighting for their lives. Double-crossed and badly weakened, the crew is low on resources, allies, and hope. As old rivals and new enemies descend on Ketterdam to root out the secrets of Jurda Parem, a dangerous substance capable of altering the very fabric of Grisha magic, Kaz's cunning and his team's fragile loyalties are tested to their limit. A war will be waged within the city's dark and twisting streets, a battle for revenge and redemption that will decide the future of magic and the fate of the world. Now, this next book on my pop list has only come into my radar in the last couple of weeks, and I was so excited by all the reviews and so excited by the excitement of all the other booktubers out there about this particular book that I literally just had to buy it, and it arrived today. I'm so excited, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and it is a novel of high fantasy and low stakes. And literally everyone who has reviewed it has given it 5 stars. So I'm very excited for this one. And again, the only thing I really know about it is that an orc is opening up a coffee shop. So we'll see. Let's see what it says. High fantasy with a double shot of self-reinvention. Worn out after decades of packing steel and raising hell, Viv, the orc barbarian, cashes out of the warrior's life with one final score. A forgotten legend, a fabled artifact, and an unreasonable amount of hope lead her to the streets of Thune, where she plans to open the first coffee shop the city has ever seen. However, her dreams of a fresh start, pulling shots instead of swinging swords, are hardly a sure bet. Old frenemies and Thune's shady underbelly may just upset her plans. To finally build something that will last, Viv will need some new partners and a different kind of resolve. A hot cup of fantasy, slice of life, with a dollop of romantic froth. I'm super excited about this. Everyone has said it is a cozy, comfy read and that it is just amazing and 5-star, and I cannot wait to read this book by Travis Baldree. I believe he is an audiobook narrator everyone raves about, and I'm very much looking forward to reading Legends and Lattes. Of course, we cannot have a booktube video without me mentioning my favourite author. You all know who that is. Good old Brandon Sanderson. So I am going to be attempting to read Oathbringer Part 1. Now, it's split into parts because Oathbringer, the book itself, on its own, is just too big to hold in your hands. And I know this because I own Rhythm of War as one book, and it is double this size. And I don't know how I'm going to hold it while I'm reading it. So here in Australia, we actually have these, you can choose to buy them in parts, so part 1 and 2. So I've got part 1 and 2 of Way of Kings, I've got part 1 and 2 of Words of Radiance, I've got part 1 and 2 of Oathbringer, but I decided to just get the whole book for Rhythm of War, just to save a bit of money, and I literally don't know how I'm going to hold it. But this month I do want to get my Brandon Sanderson fix with Oathbringer Part 1, and let's read from the back because that seems to be the best way to do it. Humanity faces a new desolation with the return of the Voidbringers, a foe whose numbers are as great as their thirst for vengeance. The Alethi The Alethi armies, commanded by Dalinar Kholin, have won a fleeting victory at a terrible cost. The once peaceful and subservient Parshmen have been awoken to the true horror of the millennia-long enslavement by humans. Kaladin Stormblessed must come to grips with the fact that their newly kindled anger may be wholly justified. Nestled in the mountains high above the storms, Shalon Davar investigates the wonders of the ancient stronghold of the Knights Radiant and unearths the dark secrets lurking in its depths. And Dalinar gradually realizes that his holy mission to unite his homeland of Alethkar was too narrow in scope. Unless all the nations of Roshar can put Dalinar's blood-soaked past aside and stand together, and unless Dalinar himself can confront that past, not even the restoration of the Knights Radiant will avert the end of civilization. So yes, it is part of the Stormlight Archives. Yes, you have to read Way of Kings and Words of Radiance before you can jump into this one for it to make any sense. And I'm very excited to be diving back into this world once again. Up next, I've got The Damned by, I still can't say her name, Renee Adi. I'm going to say Renee Adi because that sounds the most right. And I'm probably still wrong, so please correct me. The Damned by Renee Adi. This is the second book in a series. The first book I talked about in the last video called The Beautiful, and it is set in New Orleans in 1872. Forced to flee Paris, Celine Rousseau hoped New Orleans would be a haven where she could live safely. But before long, she was drawn into its dark underbelly by the enigmatic leader of the group known as Le Coeur de Lions. I assume I said that right. Sebastian Saint-Germain. Loving him has proved costly. Still recovering from injuries sustained during a night she cannot remember, Celine's dreams are troubled, and a chain of events has been set in motion that could unveil a truth that she is not ready to learn, and even lead to her demise. Now cursed and changed forever, Sebastian, too, has not emerged unscathed, while the treaty between the Fallen and the Brotherhood has been broken beyond repair. War between the immortals seems imminent. Forces hiding in the shadows have been patiently waiting for this moment. And just as Sebastian and Celine begin to uncover the danger around them, they realize that their love could tear them apart. Next up on the pop list is A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin. Now, I know absolutely nothing about this book, but I loved the cover, and I thought that the title was fascinating. I don't know if it is an adult book or if it is a young adult book. I literally saw the cover in the shops and went, oh my goodness, I love it. I have to have it. So we'll see what it's about. I have a feeling it's about women looking for husbands in the 1800s, because it says here, A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. The season is about to begin and there's not a minute to lose. And if we read the back, we can find out. Kitty Talbot needs a fortune, or rather, she needs a husband who has a fortune. This is 1818 after all, and only men have the privilege of seeking their own riches. With just 12 weeks until Kitty and her sisters are made homeless, launching herself into London society is the only avenue open to her, and Kitty must use every ounce of cunning and ingenuity she possesses to climb the ranks. The only one to see through her plans is the worldly Lord Radcliffe, and he is determined to thwart her at any cost. Can Kitty secure a fortune and save her sisters from poverty? There is not a day to lose, and no one, not even a lord, will stand in her way. Some of the recommendations on this have said that Bridgerton fans will devour this delightful novel. It is a debut, it's her first novel, and don't you just love the cover? It's just, I don't know, it's really striking, and I think it's really pretty, and I really hope the story is as good as the cover. Next up, I have got Bravely by Maggie Stiefvater. I do love Maggie Stiefvater. She wrote The Raven Boys, which I have here, and the Raven Boys series, which I have read and I intend to read again. I really enjoyed it. And I just really love the movie Brave. So this very much looks like Merida from Brave. I don't know what the story is about. Again, I literally saw the cover and went, ooh, a likey. Let's have a look. So to save her family, she'll have to be braver than ever before. One princess, it is Merida of Dunbroch, needs a change. She loves her family, jovial King Fergus, proper Queen Eleanor, the mischievous triplets, and her peaceful kingdom. But she's frustrated by its sluggishness, each day the same, and Merida longs for adventure, purpose, challenge, maybe even someday love. So far, this is the movie Brave all over. I really hope there's a difference to it. Two gods. The fiery princess never expected her disquiet to manifest by way of Feridach, an uncanny supernatural being tasked with rooting out rotten stagnation, who appears in Dunbroch on Christmas Eve, with the intent to demolish the realm and everyone within. Only the intervention of the Kaleech, an ancient entity of creation, gives Merida a shred of hope, a bargain. Convince her family to change within the year or suffer the eternal consequences. Now we're stepping away from Brave a little bit. 3 voyages. Under the watchful eyes of the gods, Merida leads a series of epic journeys to kingdoms near and far in an attempt to inspire revolution within her family. But in her efforts to save those she loves from ruin, has Merida lost sight of the clan member grown most stagnant of all? Herself. Definitely moving away from Brave now. 4 seasons. The year will secure Dunbroch's future or destroy it forever. Interesting. So it does have on the back here Disney Pixar Brave on there, but she's obviously gotten permission to use that, but then she has gone and changed the story around quite a bit. The last physical book on my list is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Now, I've got this particular copy from a thrift store, and I hate how they go and put the price stickers right on the front cover. Like, why can't they go on the back cover so the front cover stays pretty? I don't understand. When I go to my secondhand bookstore called Big B Books, they're all down the bottom here, and they only cover this little bit, and you can still see the whole cover. Why, thrift store? Why? Anyway, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. And I've heard many, many, many amazing things about this book, and I happened to pick this one up as well as its sequel at the same time for $4 each from the thrift store when I was there the other day. And I was very excited about that because that saved me a butt ton of money on a book that I really, really wanted to read. Again, I don't know anything about this other than it gets raved about by other YouTubers. So I'm really throwing myself out there this month with books that I don't know what they're about, but it's all in the adventure. Let's have a look. The dream chooses the dreamer, not the other way around. And Laszlo Strange, war orphan and junior librarian, has always feared that his dream chose poorly. Since he was 5 years old, he's been obsessed with the mythic lost city of Weep, but it would take someone bolder than he to cross half the world in search of it. Then a stunning opportunity presents itself in the person of a hero called the Godslayer and a band of legendary warriors, and he has to seize his chance or lose his dream forever. What happened in Weep 200 years ago to cut it off from the rest of the world? What exactly did the Godslayer slay that went by the name of God? And what is the mysterious problem he now seeks help in solving? The answers await in Weep, but so do many mysteries, including the blue-skinned goddess who appears in Laszlo's dreams. How did he dream her before he knew she existed? And if all the gods are dead, why does she seem so real? That sounds pretty interesting, actually. I am quite looking forward to reading this one. Last on my list is my Audible book for the month of June, which is going to be Robin Hobb's Assassin's Quest. I listen to pretty much one Audible book a month because I will read a physical book or a digital book until it's lights out, and then I will often listen to my Audible books while I'm trying to go to sleep or if I'm in the car driving or whatever. So it takes me a really long time to get through an Audible book, especially a Robin Hobb or Brandon Sanderson Audible book. They are very long. They are nearly 40 plus hours long. I think Assassin's Quest is like 43 hours or 37 hours. It's really long. So one Audible book a month is where I'm at the moment, and it is Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb, which still follows Fitz Chivalry, who we've been following in the whole Farseer trilogy. In the first book, which is called Assassin's Apprentice, we start the journey with Fitz as he becomes an assassin's apprentice. And then in Royal Assassin, which I know in my last video I called it the King's Assassin because I'm an idiot. But in Royal Assassin, we see Fitz much older, and he is now fighting a battle for his life, trying to hide his wit and trying to make his skill magic work and trying to keep Prince Regal off the throne. And it all ends in a bit of a disaster. And I don't want to give too many spoilers, so I'm not going to say exactly what happens. I do not know what happens in Assassin's Quest. I have not read the synopsis because that seems to be the way I roll with a lot of these things. But I'm sure we are going to be following Fitz further on, hopefully dethroning King Regal, because I really don't like King Regal and nor does anybody else, and hopefully putting the rightful heir on the throne. So that's it, you guys. That is my pop list for June 2022. There are 11 books on that list. One is a digital e-arc and one is an Audible book. The rest are all physical books that I have here. Do not expect to be able to get through all of them this month, and some might roll over to my pop list for July, and that's okay because it's not a TBR, and you probably think it's all the same, but to me they're different, and it makes me feel easier about doing a kind of video like this anyway. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, click that red subscribe button down below, and keep your eyes peeled for any new videos coming out. If you have got recommendations for my July pop list, please feel free to go ahead and pop them in the comments down below. But in saying all of that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.